Okay, so we're going to take a look at a tangent line. So let's say I have the equation f of x is equal to 1 over x. And I want the tangent line at x equals, let's say, 3. So we can't find the slope at one point because the equation for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or f of b minus f of a over b minus a. That we can't do with one coordinate. We don't even have a coordinate right now, we just have the x value. So there's no way to find the slope at just that one point. But what we can do, and what we talked about in class, is we can look at 2 points and bring them closer and closer together. We'll call the distance between the 2 points h. And so we found that difference quotient, and if we bring those 2 points closer and closer together, the distance between them gets closer and closer to 0, so h is going to get close to 0. So to find the slope, we are finding the slope of the tangent line. We can also call that the slope of the graph. The slope will be the limit as h approaches 0 of f of a plus h. Our a is 3. I have to give you the coordinate, f of 3 plus h minus f of 3 all over h. And so then we just figure out what f of 3 is. This is where some of you are having some issues. This is just algebra 1. You are just replacing the x value in the equation with 3 plus h. So my equation is 1 over x. So replace the x with 3 plus h. You'll have 1 over 3 plus h. Minus f of 3, just plug in 3, you get minus 1 over 3, and all of that is over h. If I were to plug in h right now, plug in 0 right now, I would get 1 over 3 plus 0, which is 1/3, minus 1/3, which is 0, divided by 0, which we can't do. It's not a number, so 0 over 0 means we get to play around with it. So, playing around with this limit, I'm going to try and get a common denominator. So 3 and 3 plus h has a common denominator of their product. You can't add to get a common denominator, so I can't just go plus h, I can't just do this. Nope, that's not going to work. That is illegal. You can't add to a fraction, so let's erase all of that. Instead, we will multiply. I'm going to multiply this numerator and denominator by 3. And I'm going to multiply this numerator and denominator by 3 plus h. That way I'll have a common denominator. So on the next slide we will have that. We're going to have, and I'm going to keep them as 2 separate fractions. So, no, I didn't want that there. Next slide. Okay, so we have the limit as h approaches 0. We got our common denominator, so we have 3 over 3 plus h minus 3 plus h, not just 3 plus h, but 3 over 3 plus h minus 3 times 3 plus h here and 3 plus h in the numerator, which I'm going to put over here because we're way up on top of the slide and it's not working in where I want to put it, but that's fine. Okay. Now you got to be really, really careful here. This is where we end up with issues as far as fractions are concerned. This is just being too sloppy with your work, going too fast and things like that. Still have this h on the bottom. If I want to put these fractions together, I'm going to have 3 parentheses 3 plus h. In my numerator, when I put them together, that subtraction is subtracting the entire second fraction. So 3 minus 3 is 0, but then you have that negative sign, a negative times a positive h, and usually with the negative h. Most common mistake is making that positive h, and then you end up with the wrong answer. So I can continue that over here. The limit as h approaches 0. We're going to assume that your algebra skills are pretty rock solid, and what's going to happen is this h in the numerator is going to reduce with this h in the denominator. That is what happens. If you're struggling with that, come and see me and we can show you that fraction. But you're just going to have the limit as h approaches 0 of this fraction now, which that, if I plug in 0, it just ends up equaling negative 1/3. That is the slope of your tangent line, which is exactly what we're looking for.